Hey everyone, welcome to another tutorial video. In this video, we're going to be looking at setting up the dev lab within Beam itself so people can get their interactive buttons set and all situated. I never really explained that. I've just been showing like how you get the board into Firebot itself. But here we go. We're gonna go to Beam and then click on our little name up there. Then we're going to go to DevLab down at the bottom, of course, as you've seen me do, and then go to create a game. Here you're going to be empty. You're not going to have anything in there. So you're going to want to hit add new game, do the game name, create it. You will sometimes see an error saving. Just refresh if you get that and make sure that it has saved. Beam has been having a few issues as of late, just a really high user base has surged. And yeah, so a lot of people have been creating things and it's been making the site a little bit slow, but regardless, it did save. So here we go. This is also a tutorial for Interactive 1.0 because 2.0 should be coming out relatively soon. Matt has been hinting at it quite a bit lately. So here we have our default blank board. Make this maximize so you can get the full view. And what you want to do essentially is just go down and hit create new button. I just like to spam a few right off the bat. And if you are going for interactive controls, you're going to most likely want to set up keyboard triggers if you want people to be able to walk. And you can set the help text so that way when they hover over it, it will display what they can do. So here we go to preview the controls. So it will say walk, and then if they highlight over it, it will say W. If you want it to be a little bit more just straightforward, you can just remove, of course, the actual button text itself and put the keystroke there. And it will do the same thing. One question I have been getting a lot of is about resizing. When you're placing buttons on the board and you notice it becomes red and you can't move it around anymore, what you want to do is you want to come up here and hit save a couple of times just to make sure that it's saved and then refresh the page. Like I was saying before, because of the increase of user base, the site has become a little bit slower, and to be honest, the dev lab has never really worked perfectly. I only use Chrome and Edge, so I don't know about Firefox, but Chrome is the only browser that will actually currently let you scroll all the way down, especially when you make multiple buttons like this. Edge right now does not seem to scroll properly, which really sucks. So here we go. You can resize your buttons here to a maximum of 4x2, no bigger than that. And you are able to have a maximum of 64 buttons on your board, which is amazing. However, you can add more buttons than 64 if you use a new state, and the new state will actually allow you to change the look of the board. So here is the default state. This is how, you can have your normal layout, however you may want it. And again, the dev lab is a little bit slow. You have to wait for the little thing to track over there to actually place it. And then again, make sure you save. I didn't have any controls set for the second board, so that just deleted itself. And boop, there we go. Again, I'm trying to move a little bit too quickly, so you gotta wait. So there we are. Now we have both sets saved. When setting up your main board, you're going to have a total of 64 buttons. Clearly down here you have less because this is for smaller screens and tablets. For example, when your screen is about this big, it will condense everything within the live streaming window right underneath the video feed, and you will see the tablet sized buttons. And if you go smaller than that, it will go down to a mobile size board. Make sure that when you're setting up your main board, you do not forget about your medium size and or your small grid, because that will make it to where users on other devices won't be able to actually utilize the board. It'll just be blank, which is not fun, not fun for interactive. Another thing you want to keep in mind is when you go over 16 buttons, you'll want to increase your report interval to about 100 to 150. If you're still noticing some issues, you may try 175 to 200, but 100 to 150 should be good. There is a slight mishap with the buttons when too many get pressed or too many are on the board at one time with a lower report interval. It just crashes itself, so you'll want to keep that in mind. And then when you're actually finished and you're all ready to go, you'll want to make sure you hit save and leave it as a draft. If you publish, this will basically be able to allow everyone to use it that's got the code, and or if you make it public, it'll just go up on Beam itself, but you won't be able to edit any more buttons. So make sure you don't publish and you just leave it as a saved draft, because then when you come to change sounds, change spark cost, or what have you, it will allow you to do so because it is just a draft and not a fully published board. So that's pretty much it for just normal button presses. It's pretty self-explanatory. You want to have frequency on. You don't really have to have holding on. If you have both of them on, you won't actually be able to put it and or import it into Firebot by viewing the JSON and copying pasting. So you will get an error code if you do that. You only want to have frequency on for the Firebot integration. And so yeah, you've got your keyboard triggers, your button text, your help text, your spark cost, and your cooldown. The cooldown I normally set within Firebot because I use cooldown groups, but you can set them individually here, and it is, as you see, in milliseconds. So keep that in mind. You can change boards up here. You don't actually have to refresh the page and go back and click on Create Game, which is awesome. You can edit the current game's cover image and description right next to the nameplate. And right here is a manage game editor, so that way you can allow other people to help you manage your board and or edit your board if you are currently streaming or you just don't really know what's going on, or perhaps someone else has a good idea and you want to let them incorporate it into your board. You can do so. And this is based off of your Beam username. Right here is the version edit to where you can change the installation instructions and also the download link, which is awesome if you want to let people use the board as well. And then here is where you would go to show your share version. So right now, I don't currently let anybody use my boards because I do like change them quite frequently, and they're all still very much in an alpha state and not concrete for publishing. So I don't want to let the general public get their hands on it. But if you want, you can grab this ID number, and then anyone with the ID version can play the name, and or you can set specific users to be able to use it and play it while it's in the draft form before it goes and becomes published. With me changing my sounds and the names and the help text so much, I generally, like I was saying before, I never publish. I always leave it in draft form so that way I can change it whenever I want. And then right here is where you would delete your version if you have multiple versions set, which is awesome, awesome. You will most likely probably go through a couple different version iterations if you want to change the scheme of your board without actually wiping all of your configs and button layouts, because that can be a pain in the butt if you set up 64 buttons and then just go and delete the board, and then you'll have to set it all up again. So it's much, much simpler to either make a new state and or set a new version, which is super helpful. And onto another type of button. So here we have the joysticks. These I don't use much because I'm typically using sounds and text commands to use for interaction rather than joysticks for movement. The button presses are a little bit more user friendly. The joystick can be a pain in the butt sometimes. I will show you that it is quite a big button, but the controls For a mobile device, it'd be easier to track rather than the mouse. However, you can move your character with this. This is an awesome tool to where if you want people to troll you or help you play, or there's multiple players, like you set up player one for the user that you're on, and then you plug a controller in for second place, or excuse me, a second user. Like within Castle Crashers, you know, you could let people control with WASDA and move around and stuff like that while you use a Xbox or PlayStation controller to control the second character. And then from that point on, you could have two other people, because it is a 4-player game, join in from the viewer base itself and or your friends from Steam, which is awesome. And then here we have screen controls. What this does is it allows the users to actually click on the screen itself. This could be useful for point-to-click games, the discovery games like I Spy games and stuff like that, where you got to find hidden objects and click on them. The viewers would be able to actually click on the screen and do that, but keep in mind that all of these are controlling aspects of your keyboard. So if they have a function to use WASDA or whatever, and you tab out of the game and you start to go type within your chat box and they're hitting buttons, it will actually type. It's not stuck to, or excuse me, this isn't just for the game, it's for your actual keyboard itself. So keep that in mind. Also with the screen clicks, you'll want to keep that in mind as well, because if you have icons or anything like that, you don't want people like double clicking and opening up programs that shouldn't be opened and or folders that you wouldn't want opened. That is also typically why I have nothing on the main desktop that I am gaming on, which is a good thing that you want to keep in check, excuse me, because yeah, that could be something bad. You don't want people clicking and dragging and or double clicking on things that you may not want. Like if they come down here, you know, they can easily just open stuff. Like I said, it's a screen click. It controls your mouse, as where this part controls your keyboard. The joystick pretty much only is going to be working within game. I've never had the joystick move my mouse around while on the desktop. I've had people test it. It didn't really do anything. Pretty much it. I can go through and show you a couple of other boards that I have set up. This is one for a game called In Vitra. It's a JRPG, and what this one does is allows people to play the game. They can run around with shift, they can access the menus so they can save and whatnot, they can interact with the characters, and I've got that set up for the small grid for phones. Got it set up for the medium grid for tablets and or people using a condensed browser version. And then here's for the large grid. You can obviously add a lot more buttons, like if I wanted to add a soundboard and stuff like that, which is something I'm actually thinking about doing. You can do. The board is only limited by the amount of space that it has. So, and also your creativity. You can think of something super awesome and super interactive. I suggest giving it a try. So here is another one that I was talking about that I had a lot of buttons set up for. And see, this is one of the weird things I was talking about. DevLab sometimes does not work perfectly. So I loaded a new board, but the old buttons are still there. So we're going to have to do a refresh. There we go. Controller editor. And yeah, there are my 64 buttons. As you can see, there's only 44 on the smaller medium grid, and the even smaller small grid has, oddly enough, 47. But they all work, so I will actually need to increase my interval up to 150. Make sure I save that, because I was having some issues with this board. It was dropping when 5 people were hitting sounds at one time. It was awesome, you know, pretty fun with the spam and whatnot. But yeah, the board went down. That's no fun. And here's another one that clearly did not load. So yeah, your safest bet is to just go hit back on the lab and then go here rather than refreshing the page. That's seems to make the buttons pop up a lot easier. So yeah, just make sure you get all three of your boards set. You don't want to just restrict it to PC users. That's rude. But yeah, other than that, I hope the tutorial has helped you guys. And if there are any questions, make sure you comment down below and or just DM me on Discord, Steam, Twitter. I mean, whatever it is, wherever, just pester me, find me, and I will answer your question and or just sit and bug fix and try to help you within Discord. I've done so with quite a few people that have requested things and or just didn't want to deal with a text tutorial and or comments within YouTube. I suggested coming into Discord so that way I could just physically talk and help you through the process a little bit easier. And yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all later in the next tutorial at your guys' request. I don't know that I'm going to be doing too many gaming videos anymore. I may be doing some requests per key mailer and whatnot, but other than that, I'm just going to leave this channel pretty much to your guys' requests and recommendations and pretty much your will. So if you guys want to see more, make sure you let me know. If not, I will I will wait until I figure out something awesome that needs to be explained that nobody else has kind of figured out. So thank you guys again for watching, and I will catch you all later.